What's going on, everyone? It's your friend, Handsome Frank, coming at you from my car. Don't worry, I am self-isolating. I live on a farm, so I'm always self-isolated. And that's okay. When I go into the city, I am prepared. I have a bottle of hand sanitizer. I have a fucking mask. So no goddamn Wuhan virus is getting me. Anyway, this whole situation is fucked up. You know, I have to ask myself, you know, and this may come from a place of ignorance. I've said before, I'm not the brightest guy, but I have to wonder that if the media was reporting every single death due to influenza, would there also be a panic? I mean, there's been over 25,000 deaths this flu season just in the US, and the media hasn't made a big deal about that. Should they? Maybe. I mean, the flu kills the elderly and the young children, whereas this Chinese virus seems to kill the elderly, unfortunately, but not really children. So I just see this as a way for media and YouTube personalities, I'm looking at you, Tim Pool, to make a shitload of money off of a very bad situation. For instance, Tim Pool will sit there and say, things are really bad. There might be martial law. He said something about in New Jersey, there's a mandatory curfew, and then he had to correct it because it was a suggested curfew. So he says all these things to scare people, and then he will say, but don't panic. I looked at his videos, and I swear to God, I just looked at the previous 20. This was yesterday. I looked at the previous 20. They were all coronavirus videos. And this guy plays like, yeah, you know, stay calm, be safe, and yet, oh, and he also sits there and says, New York Times is a piece of shit, Washington Post is a piece of shit. But yeah, he starts taking sources from those papers about the virus. He talks about Governor Cuomo as if he's a piece of shit, and then he uses him as a source for how long the virus is going to last. So when I see shit like that, all I can think is, this guy is doing it for the views and for the money, which makes him no better than the legacy media that he shits on. And I used to like Tim Pool. You know, we don't have the same politics, but, you know, I believe in watching people that have a different thought process than me. Now, I won't watch crazy progressives because they're nuts, but, you know, Tim, I would say, is a sane liberal. But I'm very disappointed in his approach to this. Just like I'm very disappointed in people right now. This whole thing is really showing just how greedy people are. Not only that, but I find that the people that are price gouging and the people that are panic buying and the people that are basically worrying only about themselves and saying fuck everyone else tend to be the lefties that, you know, on a regular day say they care about everyone else. Another thing that's grinding my gears is people trying to blame Trump. So they say he acted too slowly. Motherfucker, he banned flights from China in January before Europe did, and look what happened to Europe. I'm in Canada, and Trudeau just started closing the border. Then they say he cut 80% of the budget to the CDC, which isn't true. You know, and they're acting like he has to cure the virus. No, he's just like every other leader in the world, dealing with it. Then there was that bullshit about him telling governors that, sorry, but you're on your own when it comes to ventilators. When that's not what was said at all. What was said was, try to get ventilators on your own and we will supplement you with the rest. It's a far cry from saying you're on your own. I don't know what these people want. Trump is literally on television every day updating the world, or America at the very least, on what's going on with the coronavirus and what they are doing. And for the first time in a long time, you're seeing him defer to other people, to scientists. So it's amazing how the media is trying to play this up as if Trump isn't listening to anyone and it's all Trump's fault. Yet here's a guy that is doing his best for the American people and deferring to experts in this situation. You know, then they go on about testing. Oh, testing should have been done a lot sooner. Well, yeah, maybe, but this wasn't expected, obviously. And I'll also say that the European countries that were doing testing before the States, did it do them any good? Seriously. They say, well, if we do the testing, then we know who to isolate. Well, Europe did the testing. They knew how to isolate, and yet they have thousands dead. Fucking Italy has more dead than China. Spain has over 1,500 dead, I believe, and the States, I think, just past 300. So Spain and Italy, their combined population is a third, not even a third of the American population. And yet they have over 10 times the deaths America has. But they did the testing. So obviously the testing saved them. See, what people are forgetting is, testing or not, isolation or not, people are going to break it, just like they did in Italy. And they also forget that Europe is the most densely populated place in the world. So obviously, you know, like a place like New York, where it's very densely populated, you have a higher chance of spreading the virus. Well, Europe, that's what's happened, right? So many people crammed into Europe, and basically every country in Western Europe is like that. You know, you have over, I think, 800 million people on that little fucking continent. Yeah, that's a densely populated place. The most densely populated. So you have the virus spreading like wildfire there. All things considered, the states are doing pretty good. Yeah, they're infected, the numbers are getting higher, but the deaths aren't. And that's what's important here. Okay? I mean, the more young people that get it is not a bad thing. That just means they'll fucking be sick, and then that's how you'll develop herd immunity, right? It's the elderly we have to be worried about. Something the Italians aren't worried about. You know, there was a guy in Italy going through his city's obituary in the paper, and this is a city of 200,000 people, not a large city. There was 10 pages in the obituary. All of the people were elderly. And then you have the media defending China. You have Trump saying, yeah, it's a foreign disease, it's a Chinese virus, which it is. And then you have the media with the fucking gall to call him racist because he pointed out where it came from. They defend China, a country that is quite literally blaming America for the virus. The fact that people are mad at Trump and not mad at China is fucking disgusting. Of course, they're all lefties, so it's to be expected. But think about it. Italy has more deaths than China right now. Italy has more deaths than the place where it started. Then you go in, you have to look at the fact that China, I think in January, told people, or the media, the World Health Organization, that there's no evidence that this virus spreads from person to person. Bullshit. Then you have people that have leaked information that are either being arrested or have just straight up disappeared. And you're going to defend these people? Well, not these people, this country. Really shows you that the mainstream media are nothing but communists. We've been saying it for years, and they just fucking proved it. Anyway, look, be safe. I'm not freaking out. I urge people not to freak out. Oh, one last thing. Then you have Trump saying, yeah, we want to give money to Americans. And then the Democrats, Pelosi and Schumer, say no? Well, that's weird, because they're all for the American people and the American worker. Yet they're perfectly willing to let the American worker suffer and go without. And again, it just shows you that whatever Trump is for, they are against, even at the detriment of the American people. So, my American friends, believe in your president. He is doing a good job. He is, because he banned flights from China so early on, he saved a lot of lives. That's why there are 300 dead and not 3,000. You know, I think between Spain and Italy, there are over 7,000 or 7,500 people dead. In fact, I think there's only 4 countries where there are 1,000, maybe 5 now. 5 countries where there are 1,000 dead or more. Every other country has a few hundred. Up in Canada, we have 20. But, we have a very small population. We have 10 times less than that of America. So, look, like I said, trust your president. He's doing a good job. Don't let the economy sway your voting habits. This isn't his fault, obviously. And he's doing the best he can. And you can tell that he cares about Americans because he is doing his best to help the people. Not only is he trying to find a way to stop the virus, but he's also trying to find a way to help the Americans that are in isolation. That is a man that we can all look up to. That is a man that I wish was the leader of my country. So anyway, it's your boy, Handsome Frank. Not looking handsome because of my fucking mop. It was even worse. It was worse. I put a shitload of conditioner in to make sure it didn't go poof. Anyway, like, subscribe, and, ring that bell. Sorry about the video. It's a bit of a tangent. It's kind of all over the place, but the world is all over the place right now. So, like I said, be safe. I feel like I've tried to end this video 4 times. But, yeah. And join me on Twitter. This will be on Twitter, so, I forget my Twitter, so whatever. Anyway, peace. Bye.